wants to be a hero for his son. He just wants him to see him fight till the end.
Yeah, I'm watching the rise, and I wouldn't say I'm shocked, cause I'm hardly surprised. This one's for the ride, this one's for who knew I'd make it, just needed some time. This one's for my wife, could've left 1,000 times just about my side. This one's for the grind, I knew it would happen, just had the strength in my mind. Till the videos, I thought it was a black.
Good morning, headed in for day 4, the final day of competition. A new fittest on earth, both male and female are going to be crowned. We knew that going in for the women, that there would have to be a new fittest on earth. Well, not necessarily new, you could have had Katrin or Annie, but there'd be a new one compared to last year. For men, Justin Medeiros was returning, so we could have had a repeat, but at this point, looks pretty much impossible. So, new fittest on earth's crowned tonight. Pretty exciting day 4, and we're gonna have some history made here tonight.
Stand by.
Miserable, to be honest.
What exactly is going on? Can you explain?
I've been hurt all summer.
You can get 30% off
the semis, I haven't lifted. Might have done one squat session and one snatch technique session. And 4 months.
Is that something with your back? To get a 30%
What are you saying to yourself to just get through the weekend and finish?
Again,
get the money.
Jocko, J-O-C-K-O.
All right, event 10 for the men is done, and Jeff Adler came in prepared to win this. He was the only athlete, I believe, who turned his sandbag onto its side, his 200-pound final sandbag, so that after his muscle-ups, he would be ready to get underneath that sandbag, pick it up, and get it over the log. And that really made a difference and allowed him to get out front on that final round. He finished, I believe, in first. I believe Roman was in 4th, and he was 13 points behind Roman. So he should have picked up 15 points on him. And for the first time in a long time, we should have a different man wearing the leader jersey this weekend. And I believe Jeff Adler will be wearing the leader jersey for his first time ever. So should be an interesting event 11, and it should be pretty interesting to see if he can keep that leader jersey on. Funny thing is, I had mentioned in my wild predictions that Jeff Adler would win the games, and going into event 11, what is believed to be the second to last event, he will be wearing that leader jersey. So it might happen. Although I was kind of rooting for Roman, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. With Jason Grubb here, he just won the Masters for the 4th time?
Correct.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How was the event?
It was good. I mean, it's really a well-rounded test. Every event, this was not a laydown. It wasn't like I walked into this looking at the events thinking, I've got this. This is just easy. No, I had to battle on every event. I had to take a 5th place in an event, a couple of 4th places, but it was more strategic this year than before, where I know where I am, I know who I need to beat, I know how I need to perform in each event, and that helped me stack up points and then win with a really nice margin.
Have you thought at all about next year yet?
Oh, yeah. Depending on how this year went, I was thinking, I'm 48, I'm on the backside of an age group. I'll go into next year aiming for the top, but also we'll have a slightly more realistic expectations. It gets very hard on the backside of an age group to maintain this type of momentum, but I'll give it my best, obviously.
It's amazing to even qualify. You'll be 49 next year?
48.
Yes. 48 next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, congratulations. It's awesome seeing you, and I hope people go and subscribe to your channel.
That's right. Thank you.
Yes, right. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Stand by.
The final event in North Park is complete for both women and the men, which is kind of sad. I wore my Noble MSN shirts, that's the Madison airport letters, because this is the last time we're gonna be here, and that's super sad. But event 10 went to Laura Horvath, and I don't think that's super surprising. It came down to the sandbag, and she's super strong. And then it's also a muscle up, and we know from her rock climbing background that her upper body pulling is just fine, and she can easily keep up with the best in that. So no surprise to see Laura Horvath kind of run away with that event. Emma Lawson came in 6th, and right now, while I'm recording this, the leaderboard hasn't been updated just yet. Looking at the point spread, it looks like Laura's behind by almost 50 points, so I don't think she did quite enough to make it to first place, but it's gonna be a lot closer. It'll be interesting to see when the leaderboard refreshes exactly how close it is between Emma and Laura Horvath, and it's gonna come down to what these final 2 events are between those two, likely. Ariel Lowen isn't super far behind, and she had a 3rd place finish on the muscle up logs, so it's gonna be a tight race. It's gonna be a fun one.
Work hard, get dough. I can't get no sleep, please make my life more simple. Miles inside these shoes, so I don't stomp, I tiptoe. Fell 1,000 times, and still I roll no limp though. But I wouldn't trade a thing for what I have. I go hard, do what I need to make it last. They say the good die young, I hope I'm bad. Cheers to my past. I'm doing great now, just so they stay ass. In the booth and I lay down, I take a nap. And they thought I was playing around, it was up like my tax. Living fast, over limit on the freeway, hope no cops pass. Had to dip out for a minute, yeah that's my bad. But I can't stay for too long, I gotta go. I grab my bag and hit the dash, yeah adios. I drop the clutch and slam the gas, and it's vomit.
Once, and he thinks it would be very silly to stop now. He can do things on his one leg, then he'll continuously do it in one leg. Everything for you guys. Thank you so much for being here.
We the top 10, UGK the major way, not play it don't stop here. Traffic lights, we going, know the time until the clock there. Hands on roll, we doing digi to the whole block clear. Yo, what you got there? Oh, did you not hear? Indy's taking over and we got the whole shop, yeah. Her, she wanna know me better, but I'm on the top 10. Gotta match my energy, you see I'm in the top, yeah. Yeah, it's top 10. Hey, now I'm in blessed mode, did you forget?
All right, let's wrap up event 11. And event 11 was pretty much defined by Roman and Roman's coming out and limping. The second Roman had walked out, I hadn't heard about the fact that he was seen on a wheelchair after event 10, but the second he walked out, like, I knew something was wrong. He had one lifter on and one shoe on. That was a little bit weird to begin with. He was limping, and it became very apparent that he was injured and still trying to grit his way through event 11 with the P-bars, and it was tough to watch. The weighted double unders are what really slowed him down. He was able to do most of the rest of it, and he gave a speech at the end. He was crying, tearing up. I almost cried. It was amazing to see the crowd get behind him, though. When the last person finished for the event prior to Roman finishing, there was still 5 minutes, the time cap, and Roman kept going for those 5 minutes, and the crowd cheered for the entire 5 minutes. But I should probably mention it was Brent Vikowski who won that event, and putting himself in a pretty good position to make the podium. So This is what our leaderboard looks like right now prior to the final event. It is Jeff Adler in first still, Roman Krenikov in second, Pat Vellner in third, and Brent Fikowski in fourth. Chandler Smith finished second to last in the final heat, other than Roman, so he's moved his way down the leaderboard a little bit. If you asked me right now, I feel like I can kind of predict what our podium is going to look like, and that would be Jeff Adler in first. Roman Krenikov, I believe, is going to slip down to fourth. That's the farthest he can go down. He has 801 points. If he got 0 points on the next event, he would still have 801, which would still put him in fourth. So I think it's going to go Jeff Adler first, Pat Vellner is going to move up to second likely, and Brent Fikowski is going to be in third, and it's going to be an all-Canadian podium. I unfortunately have a flight to catch, so I am not going to get to see all the final event, but I do feel fairly confident going into this prediction prior to the event. By the time you see it, the event will have happened, but I feel like that's what's going to happen. Jeff in first, Pat in second, and Brent Fikowski in third. Jeff Adler is up on Pat by nearly 90 points. Like, there's just almost no way Jeff loses first, because Roman's probably going to get last in the next workout. That's just the reality of it. So the worst Jeff could even take is like second to last, and Pat would have to win to even have a chance of winning the games. But yeah, I think Echo Thruster, the final workout, would have been great for Roman, and he would have had, obviously if he wasn't injured, he would not have taken last on the workout that we just saw, and he could have won the Echo Thruster workout. So without this injury, I think that Roman Krenikov would have probably been our winner. Now he's probably going to finish just off the podium. It's a bummer. But it was really awesome to see the community get behind him for that last event. Going over to the women's side of that event, all the women did great. There was not an issue like this. But Laura Horvath put on like another clinic. She has won the last 3 events. So she won the Olympic total going back to last night. She won the muscle up logs this morning, and then she won the parallel bar pull just a little while ago. And she's won 1, 2, 5 events this CrossFit Games. I feel pretty confident saying that even though Emma Lawson wore the leader jersey, I believe, every day at some point, that Laura Horvath is going to win the CrossFit Games, like a lot of us thought to begin with. And yeah, that's my prediction. So Laura wins, and I think the top 3 that I have on this app right now is going to be your actual top 3, just based off of their current points. So Laura Horvath is in first. Emma Lawson, she ended up finishing 10th on the parallel bar pull, which just wasn't great for her. And with Laura winning, she overcame her. So Emma Lawson is going to likely finish second. She has 8:59, and I think Ariel Lowen's going to finish third, exactly what it looks like right now, with 8:33. So I just think that they've created too much separation. I mean, Alex Kazan has no chance of winning. There's not enough points left on the board. She could technically get into second, but Emma Lawson would have to do nothing. She'd have to finish last, and Alex Kazan would have to win. So that's not very likely. There's a shot that she could get third, but Ariel Lowen would pretty much have to also come in last. So I think the podium is set for the women's side before the final event. First for Laura Horvath, second for Emma Lawson, and third for Ariel Lowen. We will have to see during the final event. I will have a recap for all of this after. Just gonna have to do either from the airport tonight or at home. I'll probably shoot a little bit of video before I head to the airport of it. But, I feel like I kind of just wrapped it up without even seeing it. There could be some surprises. There were a lot of surprises today. Did not expect Roman to get injured. I thought it was going to be more of a battle. Also on the women's side, I thought it was going to be more of a battle between Laura and Emma. But Laura came out and did what Laura tends to do, which is just like win the last day. She just comes in the last day and takes names. That's what she does. She did last year, she did at semifinals, and that's what she's doing this year. There's a chance she could win that Echo workout, the Echo Thruster coming up too. Like, I could see her winning that workout. She might not, she doesn't have to. She has plenty of points. She doesn't have to win that workout, but I could see her doing it and leaving no doubt that she deserves to win the CrossFit Games. So, saying it now before the final event, Laura Horvath is your winner on the women's side. Jeff Adler is your winner on the men's side, which I did predict in my wild prediction video, and it looks like it's going to be correct. But I do think if Roman wasn't injured, it would have been a battle till the very end, till the final workout. Kind of a bummer on that side. Bummer for Roman, but awesome to see everyone cheer for him. And I'm sure he'll be back next year, or at least I hope he's back next year. And this is my last little wrap up in this building because the CrossFit Games are moving. I've been here since 2017. It's sad knowing it's my last time here. All right, one more event.
I'm watching the rise, and I wouldn't say I'm shocked cause I'm hardly surprised. This one's for the ride, this one's for who knew I'd make it, just needed some time. This one's for my wife, could've left 1,000 times just to by my side. This one's for the grind, I knew it would happen, just had the strength in my mind. Till the videos and letters was a
I just walked out of the Coliseum for the last time, and honestly, it's really sad. I lived in Madison in 2018 and 2019. My first time here was 2017 for the games. This has kind of become a staple of something I do every year, and we don't know what's happening next year. We don't know if it's going to even be in the US. And I don't know if I'll ever come back to Madison again, so kind of sad. All right, wrapping this up in the corner of the Phoenix airport on my way home to San Francisco. And by the corner, I mean literally like in the corner as people walk by and probably stare at me as I do this, or hopefully they just, mind their own business. Anyway, let's talk about the women's leaderboard first because that ended up being a little bit more predictable than the men's leaderboard. So what I predicted when I spoke to you last while I was still in Madison was Laura Horvath in first, Emma Lawson in second, and Ariel Lowen in third. That is exactly what we ended up seeing. Gabby Magala did make her way up into fourth, almost on that podium there, and I believe I had her in fourth in a lot of my predictions, so ended up exactly where I thought she was going to be, and Laura ended up exactly where I thought she would be too, which is in first place. She really left no doubt on the final day. She won 3 out of the last 4 events pretty handedly, and that's kind of what Laura does. She leaves no doubt when she needs to at the very end, and that's what we saw from her. So I think Laura is the rightful winner of the CrossFit Games. Obviously she is, and I would love to see her come back again next year and compete against Tia when she's back, because it's become pretty apparent that Tia is coming back next year after she'll be a year removed from having her baby. So I am pretty excited to see that battle with Laura sort of being the holder of that title and Tia coming to get it back after having won it 6 times. Emma Lawson in second, super impressive. I believe she's the youngest person to ever be on the podium at the CrossFit Games, and she wore the leader jersey for the majority of the weekend. So Emma is somebody to definitely look out for in the future. She's young. She has a long time to be in this sport if she wants to. And Ariel Lowen in third, the mom who retired from CrossFit after having her baby, ended up qualifying for Granite Games as a class fitter who just sort of did really well and wanted to get the sign for her new home gym, and ended up having a new career, a second career at the Games, which she never made it to in her first attempt getting there, and now on the podium. Pretty awesome to see that too. Ariel Lowen has a great story. If you don't know it, you should definitely look more into just what happened with her. She was actually pregnant the last time she competed at regionals before retiring and didn't know it yet, just felt really bad, and ended up retiring after she had her baby, and just sort of fell back into competing, and has done really impressively, and is an inspiration, I think, for a lot of moms. Like I said, Gabby Magala was in fourth. Alex Kazan ended up in fifth. I think she has a really bright future. Alexis Raptis in sixth, also super young. Then Katrin David's daughter, Emma Carey, who really battled her way back all weekend after taking a 40th place finish in the first event. Danielle Brandon ended up in ninth. I predicted that she would end up lower than her previous finish, which was fourth, and she did. But I'm impressed that she made it to ninth, because she was hovering in that third heat most of the week, so the teens, and made it into the top 10 at the end of the weekend. And to round out your top 10, you've got Paige Powers, who's another young up-and-coming athlete who I think we're going to see for many years to come. So let's go over to the men's side of this leaderboard. And the winner is who we thought it was going to be going into this last event, and that is Jeffrey Adler, also someone that I predicted as my wild pick to win the games, and he did. So I guess I was right. I guess it wasn't that wild of a prediction. In second, we have Pat Vellner, who I believe I had in second to win the games, but I had him behind Justin Medeiros, who did not do well this year. And in third, shockingly, is Roman Krennikov. And I kind of feel like Roman's games is going to overshadow Jeff's a little bit, even though Jeff was the person who won the games. So Jeff won and did really well, and may have won even if Roman was healthy. But the fact that Roman wore the leader jersey for most of the weekend and then had an injury and then battled through the injury the last two events, jump roping on one foot, biking on one foot, just so that he could, you know, he said something about showing his son that you shouldn't give up.
Чтобы он посмотрел.
He wants to be a hero for his son. He just wants him to see him fight till the end.
So I think it's just really impressive what Roman did, and I hope it doesn't sort of overshadow Jeff, because I think there's a chance Jeff would have won even if Roman didn't hurt his foot on event 11. I think there's a chance, or event 10. He hurt his foot on event 10 and was injured for 11 and 12. I think there's a chance Jeff could have still beat him, because Jeff was creeping up on him anyway, and Jeff was only behind Roman by 13 points before he hurt his foot. So there was a chance it was going to be a battle anyway. Ended up not being a battle because Roman hurt himself. Jeff may have won either way, but I think this was a really special year for Roman, after a special year last year of him finally making the games after years of visa issues and sort of winning all our hearts, ending up second that year. And then I think a lot of us thought he was going to fall off of the podium in that last event because we knew he was going to take a 20th. But the truth is, Brent Fikowski didn't do what he needed to do. It was really in Brent's hands. Brent had to perform. He knew Roman was going to take a 20th, and he had to do better than what he did, and then he would have. It was all in his hands. Roman couldn't do anything. Roman couldn't play defense, and Brent just didn't quite do it. But hopefully Brent will be back. I know that he's getting closer to retirement age. Hopefully he'll be back. Fourth, though, is a great comeback after the last couple years of not doing as well at the games. So it's good for Brent, although I imagine fourth is probably one of the hardest positions to be in because you didn't quite make the podium, but you were really close. So going down the list after that, Dallin Pepper actually finished in 5th. Janikowski was in 6th. Chandler Smith, who was on the podium for a little bit, in 7th. Jay Crouch, who was also on the podium, in 8th. Lazar finished in 9th, which was pretty good for him, I think, this weekend. And Yella Hoste, who was a rookie, finished in 10th. BKG has second time in his 10 years of not being in the top 10, but he did have an injury. He talked about that earlier in this vlog. A little disappointing to see him not make the top 10, but understandable. So let's just talk a tiny bit. We'll do more on this in the future in other videos. There'll be a lot of other videos about stuff we saw at the games, what some of this stuff means, but I'm gonna give you a little bit of information about, next year and the possibilities for next year. So the main rumor I'm hearing now is that the 2024 games are going to be in Fort Worth, Texas. If that's true, that would be awesome. It's right by Dallas, there's major airports there, there's a lot of hotels. That would be a great location. It would be hot, but other than that, it would be a really good location for a lot of reasons, and I would be pretty excited about that. The other rumor was Birmingham, and I feel like that would be less good because I feel like it's maybe just as difficult to get to and just as difficult to find a hotel as Madison is. So let's hope maybe these Fort Worth rumors are true. Fingers crossed. And then the other possible rumor is that age groups will no longer be a part of the games and they'll be outsourced to something like the Legends competition, which I've heard from some masters they think could be a good thing, could streamline things, could save CrossFit money, so could be interesting. Those are some potential changes we could see in 2024. So just wanted to give you that little tidbit. Maybe we'll dig into those a little bit more in a future video. And if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe. If you enjoyed all of these videos, I really appreciate you hanging around and watching them. I got some super thanks, which are always really awesome and help me so much with affording to go to these things. So appreciate all of you that left those. If you, like I said, if you enjoyed this, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully not in an airport. Literally people walking by as I did this. This is where I'm sitting.